Hello everyone and welcome to Snowshoe, West Virginia in the good old US of A. We are here for a packed afternoon of UCI mountain bike cross-country Olympic World Cup racing. My name's Rick McLaughlin, joining me in the booth, the first ever mountain bike gold medal Olympian, Bart Brenchins. Bart, great to be racing in America, isn't it?
Yeah, Snowshoe always delivers good races. It's a stunning place to be here, and look at the trees, the coloring of the trees, the leaves. It's so beautiful.
It's unreal,
beautiful weather.
Isn't it? 3 days ago they were all green, and it feels like they're turning golder and golder by the hour. But we're getting ready to go racing here at the under-23 women's cross-country Olympic race, and we had the under-23 men's first out of the traps this morning. Superb race in that format as ever. Holubova, the Czech Republic, on the line. Jinya Kaluri, Tumas Akros Young Stars team. That Swiss team really fostering some of the big talent as well as playing home Tumas Max into the existing big stars of Swiss racing. Sophia Waite from the USA, good short track the other evening. Front row start as a result. Madigan Monroe, fifth in the short track earlier in the weekend, the US national champion. That man, potentially not a US national champion, but happy to be here nonetheless. Noemi Garnier getting better as the year goes on. Fourth short track the other evening. Really one of those riders just sort of poised to break through properly. Garnier, you just get that sense, the French national champion. Noelle Burry had a good couple of races recently, looking to continue that form. But this woman has been one of the breakthrough stars of not just cross-country but across the formats of mountain bike racing this season. Samara Maxwell from New Zealand, the UCI world champion, took that title in Glentress Forest. Ronja Blurtlinger, Live Factory Racing, the Swiss national champion.
Yeah, and Samara Maxwell, she signed for Rock Rider 4 team already, so she's on that bike and in that jersey.
Rock Rider 4, they didn't wait for the season to end before they went shopping, did they? Fair play to them. What a signature to capture. Samara Maxwell has been a class act. Ronja Blurtlinger, undefeated in short track World Cup racing this season. She's gone well over the Olympic distance as well. Sina Van Thiel, Emily Johnson from Canada in there. Sophie Heavy-Peterson, what is she going to do today? We started this season, she was the dominant force. She was often the only rider in shot for most of it, but the stars sort of dwindled a little bit.
Under pressure with all these points, and I think it's a matter of time that we will see a new leader.
Yep, getting towards, well, we're not getting towards, we're at the business end of this season. Just 2 races to go this afternoon. And then Mont Saint Anne, Quebec in Canada next time out. Goes fast, Bart, doesn't it?
It does.
Too fast. So now,
the last round next week.
Yeah.
But first this one.
A long day of racing ahead of us.
A start lap plus 5 full laps these women under 23 have to do.
Yeah, absolutely great cross-country racetrack here in Snowshoe, West Virginia, Pocahontas County. They're about to go under starters' orders. Random start under the red lights. And it is green for go here at the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup in Snowshoe. The under-23 women's cross-country race is led off the line by Ronja Blurtlinger. Burry's in there with her, as well as is Samara Maxwell.
Yeah, Ronja Blochinger always strong in short track racing as well, and also a good start here.
Track just
in the cross country.
Just bottleneck slightly on the start loop, but it's Blurtlinger in that red jersey.
Then the world champion Sammy Maxwell behind her. Second place she is in that first corner. Noemi Garnier, the French national champion, in fourth place.
Yeah, the start loop just designed to thin them out slightly before they head onto the technical trail section. Just saw Sammy Maxwell just bouncing that suspension fork slightly there. I wonder if a lockout maybe had failed to disengage, or hard to see from here. But Maxwell versus Blurtlinger really has been the story of the second half of this season.
Yeah, Maxwell, she became world champion. She signed for Rock Rider Ford already.
There's Sophie Heavy Pettersson then, and
around sixth place she is.
Around about sixth place in the red and white jersey. There she is, yep.
Let's see what she can do today. It's definitely a course which suits her.
But that lead in the overall title race is dwindling somewhat. She needs to get as many points as possible in order to galvanise it before we head to the last round of the season.
So this is the start lap the riders have to do, and after that, if they cross the finish line late, or 5 full more laps to go. Blochinger, Samara Maxwell, well, Bury now coming to the front, the Bix team rider, Bix Performance race team.
So, Sophie Heavy Pettersson, 791 points in the overall, plays Ronja Blurtlinger 768, Samara Maxwell on 668. So
yeah, a lot of things still
a lot of permeations could still shake out. But it is Blurtlinger who leads them on the road from Maxwell. From
Sophie Peter Hibbersen now 5th place. At least the start is good today.
You see things a bit neater through here. Oh, and there is, just as I say that.
Yeah, these things, these little narrow single tracks, these are all bottlenecks in the beginning of the race when the field is not stretched out yet.
And that is part of the reason for the fast start, isn't it? Because you want to get yourself clear of that stuff.
And also a good start position after the short track from last Thursday. So the results of the short track, the first 24 are the first 3 rows at the start line.
Here's
for cross country.
Here's a replay off the start. You see Blurtlinger on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and this start goes slightly uphill immediately. So it stretches out the field a little bit, but I mean, everybody is fresh and full of adrenaline, so they all can push hard for the first few minutes of the race.
So it's Blurtlinger from Maxwell, from Bury, from Monroe, from Garnier, Pettersson, Shrinska, Spesna, Waite, and Cuthbert in 10th. But Samara Maxwell moves to the front now, the UCI World Champion. Bart,
wondering what Madigan Monroe can do here in the USA.
We talked about it in the men's race as well, didn't we? The American riders,
a podium
for their home race, they always come good.
Yeah, podium for him, 3rd place.
I guess Bart, a part of that must be that they do spend so much time in Europe overseas racing, and the home race is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely they have an advantage to have the support here from the fans, but yeah, like you said, most of the time they are in Europe the whole season.
A lot of the top US pros, of course, basing themselves in Europe for their training and preparation.
And the field is getting stretched out immediately.
Some gaps starting to form, yep.
Tamara.
There's Sammy Maxwell out front then. Tamara Widman just a bit further back than we would have expected for Trek Future Racing, but at the front, it's all Maxwell.
Yeah, she's pushing hard again, as she always does. She likes to show her rainbow jersey.
In terms of that new deal with Rock Rider Ford, then, how difficult is it to get used to a new race bike in the middle of the season? Did you ever change teams in the middle of a season?
No, I never did. No, it's quite unique if riders do it. And you can see as well there's no team name behind Samara Maxwell name, so it's possible if you change from a non-UCI elite team to a UCI elite team, as Rock Rider 4 is, but then still you don't have your team name behind it, and also the points what she gained now and has doesn't count to the team as soon as the 1st of January starts again.
Okay. But a bit to get used to in terms of machinery, though, because a completely different bike from the giant she was on earlier in the season.
But most of the riders there are used to that in a few weeks, a few days' time, I would say. Of course, sometimes it needs a little bit more time. Your setup, the suspension, the geometry, also different components or tires, drivetrain, these things. But most of the riders, they get used to it quite quickly.
We saw as you see them down this really choppy descent. It looks like it's drying a lot already since this morning.
Yeah, the riders are carefully for the first time taking this descent.
Yeah, we saw it in the downhill. Dylan Maples getting a ride on the factory team Commensal knockoff, and we asked him, you know, how was it getting used to a different bike? And he said, it's easy. I just brought my old bike in and said, can you make it feel like this?
Yeah, but every brand, every part on the bike are different. It's not always the same.
Sammy Maxwell out front then on that new Rock Rider bike, ahead of Ronja Blurtlinger.
Yeah, Sophie Hebe Petersen now on 9th place, so she dropped back a little bit.
Gina Kaluri just going through the shot in 7th place.
Yeah, Gina Kaluri. It was Sophie Peter Hippersen.
There she is.
The leader's jersey, the #1 on her back.
The overall leader then.
9th place she is right now.
That lead dwindling due to a real slump in form that started with a fairly innocuous looking slide off at the UCI World Championships in Glentress Forest, and she's not really righted the ship since, Sophie Hebe Petersen.
Samara Maxwell now pushing hard here on that first climb, which brings the riders to the highest point before the rock garden.
Samara Maxwell just gets better and better this year, though, doesn't she? Every time she's on the bike, she looks like it's another year in the career done.
She's always fighting.
Yeah. That's Blurtlinger, though, moving past her. Just taking a slightly different line.
Also Ronja Bloklinger is looking strong, and I think also this course will suit Ronja Bloklinger.
Yeah, just as we saw with Carter Woods in the under-23 men's race, really suits the powerful riders, this one. The climbs are not super steep and technical. It's all about horsepower around here.
So we could be behind Sophie Peter Hedersen. Sara Cortinovis, the Italian champion.
Cortinovis is another one, Bart. She started the year very strongly, but it kind of feels like she hasn't had a second half as much like it.
I don't know what exactly happened with her. I thought she had a crash early in the year.
There she is, the Italian national champion's jersey on.
Very strong climber she is.
That Santa Cruz RockShox Pro team, one of the biggest presences in the pits, and you include the downhill teams in the lot as well. Huge setup.
Yeah, with some strong names. Luca Braido is in there.
Berta's on there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But Cortinovis leads Sophie Hebe Petersen for the time being.
And so we could build leading that chasing group in the pink jersey. Here she comes.
It's the best we've seen from Cuthbert so far this year.
Stronghold is in short track. But
very strong in short track, yeah.
She didn't have her best form a couple of weeks ago, but it looks like now she's coming back in a better shape.
Had that huge crash in Nova Mesto Namarave, do you remember?
It's true, yeah.
In that left-hand corner.
Yeah, the first corner, immediately when she was leading, actually, in short track.
Bike and her about 4 foot up in the air.
But impressive how fast she was back on her bike.
Straight back on the bike. Zoe Cuthbert, a tough customer.
And from then we all knew her.
On the first lap then, proper. Blurtlinger leads the way from Bury and Maxwell now.
Well, Bury second and Sammy Maxwell on third. The world champion now. So 5 full more laps to go for these riders.
I've just seen Blurtlinger a couple of times just drop the seat down and stretch that back a wee bit as she heads into the tech feed zone.
Wondering if they are fighting for positions now, if they are entering the very long technical descents for the first time. Yeah, Noel Burry.
Looking strong today.
Yeah, good start. The two Swiss riders leading the race. Sammy a little bit up.
Maxwell just distanced now slightly by the two Swiss riders, as Bart says.
Yes, especially now this descent. Difficult for these riders.
This descent's really, really cool. Really, really good natural terrain. If you ride mountain bikes, you love to see this stuff in race courses. Oh, Burry just getting bobbled slightly. That will allow Maxwell.
She's fast, Sammy Maxwell.
To gain back up, but Blurtlinger looks like she's bolted here.
Yeah, she gained some time. Back in the leading group. Wow, also foot out.
Whoa!
Oh,
big swap on from Sammy Maxwell. And now just stuck in the tree and should be in the wrong gear. Has to get the seat adjusted again.
That costs a lot of time, but she hit the tree.
She lost a lot of time there, Bart. It looks like the wheel just got stuck the wrong side of it and she couldn't get it right. And here we go, talk us through it.
Yeah, she's dancing actually over these rocks and roots, and then suddenly her rear wheel slides away out of control.
Points the bike.
And luckily not too hard against that tree.
Not a big impact, but cost her in time, certainly.
Yeah, in time. Yeah, definitely. And she was coming back actually to the leading group. She was fast in the beginning of that descent, that most technical part, and over there it's actually more fast and not so difficult anymore. But you saw her rear wheel was sliding over these roots, and suddenly it got a swipe to one of the directions, and she was out of control.
Well, if it's going to happen, you might as well have it happen on the first lap.
But, I mean, she lost a few seconds, but Noel Burry, she's still in vision for her.
Well, Blurtlinger is 8 seconds up the road ahead of Burry.
Hope she didn't hurt herself, and it doesn't look like that, so she finds her rhythm back.
I have to say, neither Burry or Maxwell looking particularly comfortable in these conditions early on.
Yep.
Both of them unclipping, different places, trying to find traction.
Now this section over here where the riders are right now as well, also very difficult to make on your bike, very slippery. You can see these roots, rocks. Wondering if they can make it, but looks like they do. She's moving and helping herself with her body, making herself light on several sections to go over these rocks and roots. Yeah, she's back on the wheel of Noel Burry.
It's one of the quieter talents of these full suspension cross-country race bikes, is that as Maxwell goes past Burry now, is that they really allow you to climb when traction's at its lowest, don't they? You can just, it allows the back end of the bike to move up and over roots and keep that forward momentum going.
It does, yeah.
But look at Maxwell here, straight back onto the back of Blurtlinger up that climb.
I wouldn't say a crash, but that tree hit awake her.
Yeah, it seems to waken her up a wee bit, doesn't it?
Yes, no. She's moving and going so fast now.
Well, we said it before this season, a little bit of anger goes a long way.
Yeah, I was surprised why she dropped a little bit back actually around that tag feet zone. But she's back in the race. Here we see how quickly she's overtaking Noel Burry. Not waiting at all.
Nope. On the steepest part of that climb as well, the left-hand side of it.
Yeah, she's very strong in these steep climbs.
Burry, absolutely no defense at all.
Aggressive style of Sammy Maxwell.
She gets so low on the bike, doesn't she? Her back is basically parallel to the top tube on the frame. And there is the gap as it stands currently.
A few seconds, but these sections are on high speed.
So fast down here, really, really cool. As they tip into the wee section after that. Again.
Yeah, a little bit of time to recover. Probably the riders, they will come back to each other. Even when Ronja Blöchlinger will pushing hard, probably. She's not waiting. 3 seconds, and then the 7 seconds to Noel Burry.
Yeah, so this top three distancing themselves slightly from Gina Kaluri by 28 seconds. But Kaluri, as we know, tends to come back to the front of the race as the day goes on.
Where is Sophie Peter-Hebersen? Not in the top 10. She is 11th place.
11th place.
Emily Johnston from Canada. 12.
Well, Heavy Pettersson, the dominant force early in the season. You can see how little, how low the tire pressures are.
Yeah, and how much gravel there is.
Yeah.
On these trails.
Yeah, cross-country race bikes run on extremely low tire pressures to help the tire deform, to absorb some of the impact, stop them going through the riders.
Especially also for more traction on these slippery routes.
And there we have the leaders then. Maxwell back with Blurtlinger. And will she try and go straight past her, or will they try and work together and sit in together for a couple of more laps?
Walbury in third place with the number 4 on her bike.
Maxwell
look at Sammy Maxwell.
And stands up and attacks Blurtlinger now.
She's feeling good.
Blurtlinger though, looking like she's going with her.
Yeah, I think Ronja Blöcklinger had still something left. You could see the expression on her face. She wasn't giving everything she has.
Walbury
suffering a little bit more.
Yeah, visibly moving just a couple of clicks slower than those leading two, and there is Junior Kaluri behind her.
With Numi Garnier behind her again.
Yeah, highest placed US rider, Madigan Monroe's behind them in 6th currently. Monroe 5th in the short track earlier in the weekend.
Junior Kaluri from Switzerland, number 5 on her bike.
One of the big stars of this season as well, Junior Kaluri.
Yep. The young Swiss.
There is 2 US riders. Emily Johnson in with them in the national champions jersey of Canada.
Yeah, 6th place now, Emily Johnston.
So this little group of 3 battling hard.
Yeah, and Sophia White. It's with them as well.
There is the overall title leader, and it looks like she's struggling to me here, Bart.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't go as you like as it goes, then it goes even harder. Especially when
17th now, Bart.
Yeah, when all these riders are overtaking you, mentally it costs so much energy as well.
With every rider that goes past her, that's points off the overall lead.
You can see her expression on her face as well. She's
and we never used to see that at the start of the year. She was poker-faced, hardly breathing, just ticking the laps off.
She had a good start in the first few corners. She was still in the top 10, but now she's moving back. Now she will feel her legs, she will feel everything in her body that it hurts. And it hurts mentally as well. And
indeed it does.
With a result like this, probably she will lose the jersey.
A big day here potentially then in terms of the overall title. Just 23 points were in it at the start of the day between Sophie Heavy Pettersson and Ronja Blurtlinger.
Yeah, but also between Ronja Blöcklinger and Samara Maxwell in the overall standings.
Yes, 100 points between them at the start of today, so 123 between Sammy Maxwell and the overall lead. These two could be moving themselves up into 1st and 2nd in the overall title race. Whoa, you can see the bike just kicks out on Samara Maxwell there.
Yeah, it's nice to see that in slow-mo. And you see here the suspension does the work.
These two getting a wriggle on now at the front. 19 seconds back to Bury. Bury 4th in the overall, behind Samara Maxwell in 3rd, so she'll be gaining points in Sophie Heavy Pettersson as well.
These two looking good. Blöcklinger and Maxwell.
Heavy Pettersson 17th on our screens at the minute. 1 minute 50 off the front of the race on lap 1.
That's a lot.
That's alarm bell stuff, isn't it?
I'm wondering even if she will continue her race if it goes like this.
Big.
Mentally hard as well.
As Maxwell just shows Blurtlinger a wheel and gets in front of her.
She's strong on the climbs, Sammy Maxwell.
Super strong on the climbs, but as we saw in the under 23 men's race this place, it really rewards power as opposed to lightweight climbing.
Here's Numi Garnier, French national champ. And these are also the numbers 1 and 2 from the short track last Thursday. Ronja Blöcklinger, she won that. Sammy Maxwell was second.
And Garnier was in, she's in 5th at the minute. Just to give you an idea of how hard these two are going at the front.
They do.
Noemi Garnier is in 5th.
Down.
She's in 5th, 52 seconds behind the leader.
It's a lot.
Well, Burry is in 3rd place. She's 24 seconds back. You can just see the leading pair at the top of the climb tipping into that rock section now. There's Ginia Kaluri cutting a lonely figure in 4th, 42 seconds back off the lead.
The story about Ginia Kaluri, actually, her bike didn't came with her on the flight from the Europe to.
Oh no!
I think she's on a Wheelio bike instead of Thomas.
That is.
It's also more difficult if you have to ride. If we spoke about it, if you have to ride another bike which is not yours,
yeah,
you have to adjust everything, like especially the dimensions of the stem and your seat. But yeah, a completely different bike.
Cross-country
in a few days time.
Cross-country athletes so focused on the position on the bike as well. Their riding position is critical, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it comes down to very precisely measurements. Sammy Maxwell and Ronja Blocklinger. And it was 1 and 2 in the race.
As an ex-pro, Bart, do you ever lose that? Well, you're still racing, of course, in the Cape Epic, but do you ever still lose that attention to detail and feel for the bike and how it's set up?
Even still now, I'm really precisely in these things.
Takes a while.
No, I mean, yeah, you measure it always, and you feel also exactly if something is different. Also, like the saddle, if it's horizontal or a little bit up or a little bit down. These little details. You are so used to ride your bike every day, and your body is adapt to that. So it's every little change you will feel immediately.
Well, Samara Maxwell has had a new bike to play with this week, and she's making it count out the front of this one. She's leading Ronja Blurtlinger. Noelle Burry's 26 seconds back. Ginia Kaluri's 42 seconds back. Noemi Garnier, there she is, 1 minute 5 back. So the front two have gone off like a pair of rockets.
They do.
Hey, going through the tech zone now.
Sprinting. Sammy
Early
Maxwell
days for
likes
that,
to be in
isn't
the
it?
first place when it comes down to that descent. But it's Ronja Blocklinger who's leading.
Sammy Maxwell's story, real fairy tale stuff. Came out to the early World Cups as a privateer with a bit of support here and there from different people, and then won the UCI World Championships in Glentress in some style in a race that everyone really predicted Sophie Heavy-Pettersson would win at a canter.
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the season when Sophie Petter-Pedersen was so strong, dominating the races. You expect also a strong World Championship for her, but it didn't happen.
Just give you an update then. Sophie Heavy-Pettersson, she slipped in another space. She's in 18th now, 2 minutes 18 back off the front of this race.
Yeah, it's not an easy ride for her. If you're not feeling well, your body is not doing it.
There she is. But what is it, Bart? Because this isn't just a bit of illness. This has been going for a while now.
What I said, it's a mental issue as well, especially now if all these riders are overtaking you. And of course, yeah, your body is not doing what you like to see or what it has to do, pushing hard. But when the power is not there, and you start thinking, you feel the pressure of losing the leader's jersey, it all goes wrong. It always goes in the wrong direction. And that's what happened now.
Yeah, 4 wins at the start of the year for Sophie Heavy-Pettersson, but 13th in the short track here in Snowshoe earlier in the weekend, and an 8th place in Andorra.
Yeah, in the last few rounds it went less and less actually, more difficult. And of course you had a fair lead in the beginning, but now there's nothing to play with anymore.
It just goes to show you, such is the level of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup at the minute. You can be as dominant as you want, but it doesn't take long for people to chip away at it if your game drops even slightly.
No, it is, yeah. And it's a long season.
Oh, Sammy Maxwell.
That's why they like to be in the first position.
Just getting bobbled slightly there.
You see these roots, slippery.
Hasn't lost too much time, but stuff like that, Bart, here we see it again. Talk us through it.
Yeah, maybe she's too close to Ronja Blocklinger's rear wheel. There's no time to keep on her speed. And then, when the rear wheel is sliding over the next route, yeah, she lost all her momentum, all her speed.
But look, right with her, right past her.
Because of what we saw before, that sprint they both had in the tech feed zone area, to being in the first position, entering that descent, that's still actually going on now. Because Sammy felt she had to be in the first place, then she could open the gap a little bit more to Ronja Blocklinger, leading the climb in total. And it took her almost till the top of the climb just to overtake her.
This fast, high-speed section then. That little punch off the fire road can be tricky as well. Really wet there.
And a few rocks over there too. Probably not too sharp, but yeah, there's a little bit of a ditch. And I'm surprised all the time how Sammy is attacking the race. I mean, she doesn't wait at all.
Here's third place then, Noelle Bury. Fourth place behind her, belonging to Ginya Kaluri.
Another Swiss rider.
Looks like she's closing in onto the back of her compatriot, another Swiss rider.
Three Swiss riders in the top four.
Yeah, Blurtlinger, Bury, Kaluri. Second, third and fourth currently, led by a Kiwi, Samara Maxwell. Bookended by Noemi Garnier.
And Munro, Madigan Munro in sixth place, the US rider.
Good showing from Munro. Again, Emily Johnson, a real fighter as well there. There is Ginya Kaluri, as Bart says, riding a bike different from her own.
Yeah, which is not not her own.
Yeah, it's good when the airlines help you out like that, isn't it?
It is. But I mean, it's nice to see different teams helping out her.
That is true. Yeah, it's cool. I did see her on that bike earlier in the weekend. It's got kind of a Dazzle camouflage wrap
camouflage
on
wrap it has.
And I wondered what was going on with it. I thought, oh, she's on a prototype, but she's not.
No,
she's on a Villiers.
It's a Villiers. The Villiers Pirelli team. Thanks for helping her.
No, that's good to see. Fair play. Fair play. Teams helping each other out here at the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. As we see a replay, there is Blurtlinger, Samara Maxwell just knocking the seats down and getting ready for that technical descent. The number 2, the number 3 rider, but the number 1 rider, Sophie Heavy Pettersson, in trouble.
Having a hard day. Sophie Petter-Hebbersen.
Still in 18th.
Yeah, every point counts at the moment for her.
You can hear the crowd roaring them on as they come through that second tech zone, so no feed there, just mechanical assistance if it's needed. Look at the gap, 54 seconds back to third place Bury.
Yeah, they're going fast, these two. Not holding back like I thought the men under 23 riders did.
No, Maxwell's attacking here, you know.
She does.
Turning the screw.
Quite early in the race.
But we've seen her do it. She's not afraid to go off the front and ride her own race, not unlike Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She doesn't feel the need to stay with second and third place riders to take it to the final lap. She will go early if she feels good. Yeah,
and she might hold back a little bit in these technical descents to be a bit more carefully instead of being under pressure by Ronja Blocklinger, because she's very strong and fast in the descents.
Ginya Kaluri right on to the back.
Yeah,
off Noelle Bury, as we predicted.
For that third place.
Kaluri kind of reminds you of Mona Mitterwallner a little bit, Bart, in that if she could get that faster pace at the start of the race, she might give herself less work to do towards the end of it.
It's like that.
It's very easy to say that from a commentary booth, of course, but... But Sammy Maxwell scampering away up the road here. Ronja Blurtlinger doesn't look like she's going with her at the minute. That gap's more than 1 second, I can tell you that for free.
Sammy Maxwell. She showed her strength, she showed her jersey. She likes to win for the new team she's riding for.
It is amazing the difference that UCI World Champions jersey makes for a rider, isn't it? It just gives you that. And you know yourself with the Olympic medal as well.
It is, yeah.
All of a sudden, it gives you that affirmation that, actually, I am that good.
Actually, for an Olympic medal, an Olympic gold medal, there's no jersey for that.
No.
only 4 world championships.
You've got to wear it all the time.
No, but the World Championships jersey, the rainbow stripes, yeah, it gives you something special.
And it's great to see Samara Maxwell. She is rising to that jersey, isn't she? She's getting better every time we see her. Look at this descent, really choppy down here. Back wheel just skipping around on that rock rider.
When they're Blöcklinger.
Blöcklinger, slightly different line, over to the rider's left. Big compression right in the middle of that where the suspension sinks into all its travel. Through it safely low.
Yeah, what can she do? Is she able to close that gap again? Maybe on the more technical parts of the course?
Sophie Heavy-Pettersen's going backwards. You know, she's in 19th now. 3.5 minutes back off the leaderless race, the overall title leader.
Yeah, that doesn't look good for Sophie Pedersen.
She's behind a couple of Czech riders now, Holubova and Viktorova.
Yeah, names normally probably, and riders normally should never see.
Doesn't tend to be down there that often, but yeah, not pretty viewing for Sophie Heavy-Pettersen fans. Samara Maxwell's the fastest lap so far.
9 seconds in between these two, Maxwell and Blöcklinger.
Ronja Blöcklinger second in that competition. There's the battle for third then.
Yeah.
Burri and Kaluri. And there is the overall series leaders jersey of Sophie Heavy-Pettersen. As I say, 3.5 minutes back off the front.
Yeah, with Tamara Wittmann in front of her.
So she's got past her as well. So I think that may well be 20th spot at the minute for Sophie Heavy-Pettersen. Hemorrhaging time and hemorrhaging points. The Dane moves back in front of Widman. What can you do, Bart, as a rider? How do you rally?
Yeah, at least she's still looking. I mean, she's still pushing. It's not that she's quitting the race. It doesn't look like that. But at least there's no power for her in her legs. And it's mentally very hard where she is.
She was almost robotic in her domination at the start of the year. The face never changed, the expression never changed, the amount of effort she seemed, her cadence was perfect throughout, and now...
And now suddenly there's nothing left, yeah. Sometimes you don't know exactly how it comes, or you don't feel it that it will happen, but...
Is that more difficult is that more difficult than when you know it's an injury or you know it's...
Then it is a good reason for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes if the form is not there anymore, it's really hard to accept and to understand. But these days there are a lot of data the riders they can record. And they see a kind of a direction, and also the trainer, the coach, they will speak about it and try to turn it in a new direction again. And but maybe the only thing what she can do probably is to take good rest. Then these days with so many races, Snowshoe next week, Monson, and short track on Thursday, cross country on Sunday, there's no time to rest. To recover.
A lot of racing in the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup season. It can often start quite late in the year, but once it gets going,
it goes.
It goes, and you're on the bike a lot between practice.
The level is high. They're all professional athletes. They're training hard. They're doing everything for their sport every day again.
We talked about it with the news that broke during the Under-23 men's race that Sam Gaze will not contest the rest of the season in the elite men's category. His doctors have decided that he needs to actually rest and get some rehabilitation in and recover properly from the illnesses that have sort of followed him around this year.
But most of the time, yes, someone else has to say it to these athletes.
This is for third place. Gina Kaluri has blasted past Noelle Burri and is now heading towards the front. Kaluri looking strong.
Looking good, yeah. Kaluri. Yeah, but Noelle Burri, she's able to follow her. I think they know each other also from the Swiss races. Switzerland, always a strong nation, have a strong Swiss Cup as well, national series.
Yeah, cross-country mountain biking, absolutely huge in Switzerland. Some of the biggest stars in the sport have come from the Alpine Nation.
They had a top 3 podium at the Olympics in Tokyo some years ago.
Burri's covered this off really well, you know. She's just got straight back onto the back of Kaluri. Yeah, we're saying about the demands of the season, and yeah, you can lay out all the different races and how you might go and do a couple of road races here and there and do cyclocross as we see them through this really technical descent, but it can all add up. It's all air miles, it's all time on the bike, pushing your body to the limit.
Sliding over these rocks and roots. Yeah.
You can see how much work the bikes are doing down there as well.
Yeah, they're not holding back.
Nope, absolutely not.
The numbers 3 and 4 in the race.
Kaluri and Burry then, so they are 1 minute 10 back off the front. Samara Maxwell's currently leading the way, and she's now built herself an 11-second lead ahead of Ronja Blurtlinger.
Yeah, Madigan Monroe, she is on the 5th place, the US rider.
Sophie Heavy Patterson, the series leader, 19th, just inside the top 20, but hemorrhaging points.
Emily Johnston from Canada on 6th place.
As we see Kaluri in the tech feed zone. Burry back into third then. That was a good response, Bart.
Yeah, she likes to lead this technical descent.
The way Kaluri went past her, I thought she was making a bolt for it, but it's rallied Burry somewhat. She steadied the ship, but she's got back past her again.
Into the technical part of the course.
Really, really choppy, really, really fun to ride technical section. Down through there.
Newman Garnier on 7th place.
Oh, here is the leader, Samara Maxwell. 8 seconds now, the gap between her and Ronja Blurtlinger.
It stays more like the same. There she comes, Ronja Blurtlinger on 2nd place.
Maxwell looking comfortable though, looking like she's pushing a good cadence. Blurtlinger though.
Yeah, looks like she gained back a few seconds in that descent. Blurtlinger strong in the descent.
I feel like that's a part of her game that she's sharpened up this season. She has got a lot better at managing those descents.
And Sara Cortinovis, an Italian champion, on the 15th place.
See the size of the cog on that rear cassette. Blurtlinger is pushing up there, huge.
Yeah, 52, actually the smallest chain ring in the back the riders can choose.
Quite the it's probably bigger than a brake rotor, that, is it, on one of these cross-country race bikes?
It's normally the front chain ring on a road bike, 52.
Yeah, absolutely huge. But it allows the riders to dig into the low box.
And this is a very steep section on that climb.
Single chain ring on the front of the cross-country race bikes for a good number of years now. Just takes a load of moving parts off it.
Yeah, it seems to be that's the perfect system.
Yep. Allows for a bit of chain retention as well. The chain ring's actually, the profile of them designed to grip the chain, keep it in place, or at least certainly attempt to. Rare we see a chain off these days in cross-country racing. It used to be a big problem.
Yeah, but most of them there have a chain guide on it, so to protect that it drops off. But yeah, still it might happen.
Blurtlinger looking like she's hurting there, Bart, at the top of that one.
Yeah, but it's less than 10 seconds, 8 at the moment. So,
and they have a decent buffer, 1 minute 12 back to third place. From Samara Maxwell back to Noelle Burry.
Yeah, she's pushing hard, Maxwell, not holding back at all.
It's looking good for the Kiwi.
Especially these parts where the riders are right now, that must suit Ronja Blurtlinger too.
A very powerful very powerful rider, Blurtlinger.
Well,
this is the battle for third then. Burry and Kaluri.
Yeah, the lowest gear they can ride on parts like this.
Oof. Really uneven ground up the top of this climb as well.
You can see the bike of Ronja, from Kaluri,
yeah,
Genia Kaluri.
With the dazzle camouflage on it.
It's not her own bike.
Yeah, that bike is somewhere in an airport, missing its owner. That's a nightmare, Bart.
It's a nightmare. If you are on the phone for a couple of hours.
The worst thing is if it arrives where you've just left after you've left. It's happened to me before. There is Genia Kaluri though. Looking like she's enjoying this descent actually.
Most of these riders, they like the descents. High speed, especially these single tracks. It feels even faster.
You can see the amount of levers on the handlebars there.
I mean, it's the lockout for the suspension, the lever for the dropper seat post, and then the shifting.
Gears and the brakes as well. Yep. Sammy Maxwell not using their brakes up here. Absolutely flooring it now, Maxwell.
Taking her time for that drink.
Well, you said, Bart, at least the gap was within 10 seconds. It's now 11 on my screen.
Yeah, it's getting more.
And this is what Sammy Maxwell does so well, isn't it? It's death by 1,000 cuts. A second here, a second there.
Yeah.
Blurtlinger taking a drink.
Yeah, also she's taking her time.
Breathing heavily.
Difficult to drink on a climb like this. She has to.
19 seconds through there now. So Sammy Maxwell's attacking here. 1 minute 24 back to third position. Noel Burry. Genia Kaluri right there with her. Definitely not Claudio Kaluri.
The three Swiss riders. 2, 3 and 4 in the race.
Switzerland's so strong, Bart.
Yeah, they are.
Sophie Heavy-Peterson, 21st now, 4:57 off the front. Bart shakes his head in disbelief for that one.
No, I feel the pain she's going through mentally.
How difficult is it when you're looking for answers to problems you don't understand?
Yeah, probably she knows before the race, and also she's in doubt about herself the last few days before the race. There is a sign, and she knows that. She feels it every day, but there's not that much that you can change.
Here is battle for third, and it is between Genia Kaluri and Noel Burry, excuse me.
But she will come back after the form where she is in right now. She will be back on the highest podium.
Yep, Kaluri to the front now into third place. 1 minute 29 off the lead for the young Swiss woman on the borrowed bike.
And Sophia Waite, another US rider on 8th place. Strong ride.
Shrinska and Spetsna round out the top 10. Not very fast young Czech women in this under 23 UCI mountain bike cross country Olympic World Cup. Van Thiel in 11th. Zoe Cuthbert in 13th currently. Kortenova's 16th.
Yeah, some big gaps behind the top 10.
Yeah, crowds busying up here in Snowshoe. You could forgive them a slightly late start to the day after the downhill races yesterday. Go and check out the highlights, GCN Plus on Eurosport. Absolute another superb day of downhill racing. 7 winners in 7 rounds in the elite men's downhill this year.
Amazing. It shows the level, how high it is, the depth.
It's incredible at the minute. What a time to be a fan of downhill racing, and if you're not yet, get involved with it. Really in whisper it a golden age. But Sammy Maxwell out front of this one in the under-23 women's cross-country Olympic. What is the gap back to Blurtlinger? 21 seconds, the gap on my screen. She's out of vision now. And as you always say, Bart, that's key. If you can't see who you're chasing, it's hard to chase them.
21 seconds, yes. She's increasing her gap.
And you're just hearing Blurtlinger breathing that bit more heavily in each shot. 21 seconds back to the Swiss rider now.
She's slowly going and went away. Sammy Maxwell, here she is.
She's just so good.
The reigning world champion.
Slightly higher average speed and cadence than everyone else.
Yeah, it looks like she's very fast in every corner, on every detail. And pushing hard everywhere, not waiting at all.
Whisper
not slowing down.
Whisper it like Nino Schurter.
Yeah.
We've seen him do that a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
There's not one part of the track he's faster on, he's just faster all around the track.
Yes, that's how it is. And if it's a 10 seconds every lap, it's a lot at the end. That's how cross-country racing is these days.
There she is, Sophie Heavy-Peterson, 5 minutes back off the lead of this race. Nearly 6 minutes back off the front of this race.
Around the 20th position.
The Danish overall leader. Oh dear, oh dear.
On her own, no one behind her. There she is.
Yeah, it's a bit like that bit in the submarine movie whenever the red light starts going off and the steam starts coming in, there's alarm bells ringing, but they're not ringing for this woman, Samara Maxwell. At the front, looking extremely comfortable.
She's looking strong.
Let's see if we can get a visual on that gap from the drone shot. I don't think we can, such as the size of it.
Yeah, relaxed on her bike too. You see how she's holding her handlebar with her hands. A very relaxed style. Look back over her shoulder to Ronja Blocklinger. 21 seconds in the last.
It's a strange thing, body shape and cross-country racing, Bart, isn't it? You can just tell that she's a rider who's just
enjoying it.
Yeah, tipping along.
Having a good ride.
What does that feel like at the front of a race whenever it's all going to plan? You're distancing the rider behind.
Even more power. I mean, it does. You have the support of the fans. You have the support of a winning feeling. Yeah, it says everything.
2 to go. Ronja Blurtlinger discards her bottle. She has stabilised that gap at 21 seconds. Let's see how far back the battle for third is, though. 1:28 on my screen through the last split. Burry in third at the minute. Kaluri in fourth.
With a 30-second gap going into the last lap, and then stuff goes sideways and they don't win. So it's truly.
You can hear in the background the voice of the announcer, Leah Davidson, famous US racer. And there is that third place battle. Burry and Kaluri still together. It looked like just when we first saw them come into the shot there that Burry was distancing Kaluri. Kaluri riding herself straight back onto the back of her. So this one set to go to the wire by the look of it.
Yeah, tie battle between these two.
Does it make a big difference, Bart, whenever you're in a battle with another rider like this, if you know them or not, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses? These two will know each other very well as Kaluri goes through in the third.
They respect each other as well in a situation like this. They're both from Switzerland. They know each other from the Swiss races. And also probably they know each other's strengths. Who is the best climber, who is the best descender. But still, it's a fight for a podium. The last spot, third place. So and you know, they will respect each other in a good way.
This borrowed bike of Ginja Kaluri, we've seen it a lot in cross-country racing this year, whether it's crashes or injuries. Sometimes.
And you see also how much mud there still is on the downhill.
Pickups quite a lot. The bike's weighing a bit more now.
Sticky.
Sometimes a bit of adversity can just inspire a rider to just dig deeper and just actually overcome these problems with the best possible answer, which Kaluri is doing admirably. Here they come, different lines through that descent. Kaluri back in front. Third place is hers for the time being. Blurtlinger, 20 seconds, so she's found, Ronja Blurtlinger has found a second behind Samara Maxwell. But let's stick with the battle for third for the time being, because this one is heating up nicely.
Yeah, but don't forget the fight for the win. I mean, Sammy Maxwell's looking good. 20 seconds gap.
These two
quite a bit.
These two battling though. Ginja Kaluri standing up on the pedals. Snowbury heads through the feed. Texan doesn't want the bottle. Will she take one at the end?
Yeah,
no, just using that separate lane. Is she going to come out in front of her? Yep.
Yeah, they're both fighting as well for that first position.
It's an aggressive exit out of that feed tech zone, isn't it?
All the time again.
Straight into the middle of the corner.
But especially the open parts of this court, now they look really good. Very, very hard backed.
This would be a great shot through here as these two come together again.
But on these sections, the riders they have to be more careful. You saw a foot out for Noelle Burry in between these trees. A very narrow section over there.
Great bike riding from Kaluri there. Absolutely superb from Ginja Kaluri through there.
So much faster. A foot out again for Noelle Bury.
And that is where that extra bit of skill comes in, Bart. She lined it up on that rock, let off the brakes, and shot to the bottom of that descent. Let's see it again.
Here we see that again. The first time a foot out for her, so she has to slow down.
And watch Kaluri
Here it comes.
here.
Both foot out in that narrow section in between the trees. And then Genia Kaluri is overtaking her in that outside line. And it has a much faster exit, actually.
Yeah, we didn't see the end of that move, sadly, but Kaluri, as Samara Maxwell continues to dig deep at the front of this one.
Yeah, this is interesting too to see. Fast on this climb all the time, 21 seconds now.
So it's steady, that gap. 124, back to that battle for third we were just watching, but it's an amazing feeling, Bart. Technical descending, you can load these bikes up on the brakes, and once you get off the brakes and release all that stored up energy, they just shoot off down the descent.
They do.
It's up to you if you can hold on to them or not. That's the bigger challenge. That's where the skill lies.
To hold it straight and on the track.
Great bike riding from Kaluri. She's up in the third at the minute, but Sammy Maxwell leads the way from Ronja Blurtlinger at the front of this one. 21 seconds, a stable gap. So Blurtlinger, she's not losing time to the leader. They're traveling at the same speed.
Here she comes to second place for Ronja Blurtlinger.
Sophie Heavy Peterson has shipped another minute. She's 6 minutes 44 behind the front of this race, the overall leader. Points disappear in 23rd position now for Sophie Heavy Peterson. Samara Maxwell, the rider in third place in that overall, leads the way from the rider in second place in the overall. Ronja Blurtlinger, penultimate round of this year's UCI Mountain Bike World Cup.
Strong ride. Sammy Maxwell from New Zealand.
Another strong ride from Sammy Maxwell from New Zealand. And there is the battle for third place then. Kaluri still ahead of Bury. Who do you think looks stronger here, Bart?
On this climb, I think Noelle Bury looking good, but Genia Kaluri, she was very strong in the descent, but now it looks like Noelle Bury is coming back to her.
Kaluri out of the saddle just on that final little punch.
A lot of extra energy to close the gap like this all the time.
Kaluri looking over her shoulder, she will see that she has distanced Bury up that climb, and she'll crack on down this fire road.
It's a good battle in between these two for the third place on the podium.
Yeah, it's been great to watch. Only 3 riders on the podium for the U23s. Let's see.
Gel
going in for Sammy Maxwell. Makes the handoff. What will be in that, do you think, then, Bart? Is that fast sugars, caffeine?
Yeah, most of it is fast sugar with caffeine. These gels. But you need to have these in a race like this. Maybe 2 or 3 these riders take. It depends the volume of the gel is.
Cross-country, Olympic, tough on the stomach.
These days the gels are also better made, I would say.
Yeah.
But,
more natural stuff.
Yeah, more natural stuff. Higher quality and not that bad anymore. Too bad. So some of the if you are sensitive for these things, then it might affect your stomach, and you might have a little bit of stomach problems afterwards, but not too bad.
So here is second place, Ronja Blurtlinger.
Emily Johnson from Canada now in the 5th place.
29 seconds back, Blurtlinger, so she has lost some time. As Bart says, Emily Johnson of Trek Future Racing up in the 5th place. Superb forward momentum for her. She's got past Noemi Garnier and Madigan Monroe. The battle for third still raging. Genia Kaluri currently leads Noelle Bury by 8 or 9 seconds, so Swiss rider on the attack, trying to get the job done.
The Lift Factory.
See just the effort painted all over the face of Ronja Blurtlinger there. Having a good season, the Swiss star. second in the overall at the minute, may well be riding towards that overall leader's jersey with 1 round to go, which, as a bike racer, is a sentence you love to hear.
She won every single
short track this season. Undefeated.
With 1 to go next week.
1 to go. Imagine if she could round that out undefeated.
The perfect season.
There is confirmation in 37 seconds back, Blurtlinger from Maxwell.
It's looking good for Sammy Maxwell.
Zoe Cuthbert in 17th.
Dropping back a little bit after her fast start. She had
big talent, Zoe Cuthbert. Sophie Heavy-Pettersson, there you go, 23rd, 7 minutes, 17 seconds behind this woman on your screen now, Samara Maxwell.
Yeah, a couple of these women, they turn to the elite category next year. Also Sammy Maxwell does. Zoe Cuthbert does as well.
Be fascinating to see what Samara Maxwell will do in that elite category.
Yeah, and also Ronja Blocklinger turns elite next year. So some strong riders added to the women elite category.
It really feels, Bart, like across all the mountain bike formats, that the gap between these younger categories and the elites has come down noticeably. You think about what Mona Mittervalner has done this season, Puck Petersen.
Yeah, impressively how strong they are on such a young age.
Yeah, I know, in downhill as well. Like the first downhill round this year was won by a first-year elite racing his first race,
yeah, but I think
Jordan Williams.
It's because on a much younger age, people are starting as a professional career, almost as a junior. They do everything perfect. They have the people around them to help them for better performance, and that's why they perform already on such a high level on a younger age.
33 seconds in, the gap between Maxwell and Blurtlinger. There she is. That is what that long shot just giving us an idea of what that looks like on track.
So a little bit of time to play with now for Sammy Maxwell in this race.
And there is your 3rd place. What a superb ride this is from Ginia Kaluri.
Yeah.
Let's have a look to see how far Burry is behind her.
The gap is there.
It's a good gap. See the camera pivot round to find her.
Yeah, it's looking good for Ginia Kaluri.
Yeah, missing bike, borrowed bike. She hasn't let it slow her down one bit. 3rd place, Kaluri, going strong. 1 minute 31 off the back of that time of Samara Maxwell. Burry strong as well, though. Good showing from her.
Yeah, she's actually quite consistent, especially the second part of the season. She's very strong.
Big gap back from Burry to Emily Johnson in 5th place, and then another over a minute back to Madigan Munro from the USA.
Emily Johnson 5th place, Madigan Munro now 6th.
Samara Maxwell is just tipping these laps off, you know, every sector. Maxwell leads by 34 seconds. She's found another 3 seconds in there from Blurtlinger. Then Kaluri, Burry, Johnson, your top 5. Stretching the hands out there, Bart.
Yeah, I like to see her doing this. I mean, it's very relaxed.
Just doing something the whole way around, just trying to make life that little bit easier for yourself.
One more lap, the final lap for Sammy Maxwell. Is she crossing the line?
Samara Maxwell, the class of the field, and out onto the final lap then for the New Zealander.
Out of the saddle.
And there is Ginia Kaluri, the rider in 3rd, just checking further down the track to see where the rider behind her is. She can't see her.
That's a fair gap.
It's a chunky gap now, isn't it? Back to Noelle Burry.
That's the 4th place for Noelle Burry. Emily Johnson, she's on 5th.
Burry, 4th place in the overall as well. Currently, the start of this one. Ronja Blurtlinger crosses the line then, out on the final lap for the woman in 2nd place at the minute. We'll have to see how the points shake up, but Blurtlinger Could be riding herself in the overall jersey
but also
here.
Samara Maxwell.
Could be.
If she takes the win, and it looks like that, still one more lap to go, but
as we always caveat this with, anything can happen.
yeah, I mean, it's mountain
racing.
biking. We saw it. It almost happened with Sammy Maxwell in that first descent when she hit the tree. It's never over.
There's Puri, Swiss rider.
Stretching her legs a little bit.
It's an important part of cross-country racing, Bart, isn't it? We just saw Sammy Maxwell stretching her hands out. Anytime you're not pedaling, to try and just give those muscles the best chance of recovery possible.
Yeah, recovering, yeah.
There is first and second. That's what it looks like on the track.
34 seconds in real.
Sammy Maxwell, that one. That's one of the best sights in racing, isn't it? With a rider behind you. It's on a completely different part of the track. The pressure's off on the last lap.
Yeah,
still, you can't let your attention dip for a second, though.
Oh, she has to be concentrated, especially in that descent where she is right now.
Well, cameraman's having a lie down.
Well, Burry on fourth. 2 minutes back. Here she is, the
this
leader.
Is the section where Sammy Maxwell came a cropper on the first lap, but after that was really her only mistake in this race, Bart.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time ago now. It woke her up, didn't it? Woke us up in the commentary booth. We thought she'd had a big crash, but kind of just sort of, it was just down here, was it? She just kind of...
Yeah, a little bit further back up. Yeah, halfway of that descent it was.
Absolutely railing her way around that left-hander. Not a problem for the leader, Sammy Maxwell.
Yeah, this is the bottom, and now it goes up again. There she is. It's, the way how she's attacking, even here in the last lap, it's such a lead.
The lead's 37 seconds now.
Not holding back.
Absolutely not holding back one bit. Sammy Maxwell
still looking back over her shoulder.
Sophie Heavy-Petersen, the overall leader at the start of this race, is in 23rd place, 8.5 minutes behind this woman.
Yeah, I feel sorry for her. Fastest lap time.
Fastest lap time for reference is a 12:08 from Sammy Maxwell, so 3/4 of a lap behind, really.
Yeah, 80% rule, that does exist as well. Yeah,
80% rule, so they will pull riders who are 80% behind the time of the leader
out of the race. Precisely over these technical uphill sections.
So if it stays the way it is, Ronja Blurtlinger, by our calculations, will take the lead if she's in second place. We'll need to see what it means for Sammy Maxwell.
Well, Burry
cautious through there, Bart. Yeah, not as fast as Kaluri. That's where she's losing the time.
Yeah, she did the previous lap, but we saw when they were together.
So if Sophie Heavy-Petersen remains in 23rd, by our calculations, she'll stay second in the overall.
Is she? Okay, so it's worth for her to push, even if it's at 23rd position where she is right now. Yeah, it's that every point will count in the GC.
This woman, though, cracking on at the front, can still finish this year with a UCI World Cup overall title and the UCI World Champion stripes, but it will come down to the final round in Mont Saint Anne in Canada. Second place, Ronja Blurtlinger is riding her way towards the overall title leader's jersey.
40 seconds between the numbers 1 and 2 in the race.
But she's looking like a spent force here, Bart, compared to the rider out in front of her.
Yeah, but this is very steep where she is, so it's different part of the course.
40 seconds now, the gap between first and second. There's your leader, the UCI World Champion, Samara Maxwell, at the 7th round of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup in Snowshoe, West Virginia. The track drying as the sun comes out. Going to be in perfect conditions for the elite races later on this afternoon.
I expect some fireworks.
Well, going to be fireworks. It's a good job we got that big box of biscuits in here.
A family box.
It's we're a family bar. We're a family of kind.
Family size.
Noel Berry in fourth.
Do we empty this box this
Absolutely, yeah. Fastest lap times. Noel Berry just making heavy weather of that little climb. Looking very, very wet on that part of the course, actually.
Yeah, but these parts don't dry at all.
We see a replay of her in the descents.
This descent looks a little bit better compared to the training days they had the last few days, but when it was very slippery, but still it's not an easy part at all.
I know the racers aren't here to have fun per se, but I have ridden that descent and it is really good fun. You can crack on down there to your heart's content. There's Ginia Kaluri.
But the dropper seat goes down.
Yes, absolutely, dropper seat goes down unless something's gone very, very wrong at the top of it. Third place for Kaluri, 1 minute 34, back off the time of Samara Maxwell.
Fourth place.
Fourth place.
I think this is fourth.
It is indeed, yeah.
Must be, yes.
Emily Johnson of Canada. Trek Future Racing's in fifth behind her. So Berry closing in on fourth.
Patrice Snieska from the Czech Republic. Sixth place.
Great ride from her. Trenska. Monroe's in seventh. Sophia Waite. Two American riders together. Then Sina Fantail, Kira Bum, rounding off the top 10. But yet again, in the second half of 2023, Samara Maxwell has been the class of the field. Over an hour gone now. She had that mistake on the first lap where she clipped a tree, but other than that, pretty much faultless on her first cross-country Olympic race on that rock rider.
I expect it will give her also the motivation for the last round next week for the overall, the title. And I think that's still envisioned for Sammy Maxwell.
It's kind of like we talked about in Aaron Gwyn with the downhill yesterday with Nina Hoffman. It's kind of simple. You just need to go out there and win it. Let the cards fall where they will behind you.
Yeah, just do your best and win every race.
And with these kind of legs, who would bet against Samara Maxwell? But
I mean, short track is maybe a bit more difficult for her. Ronja Blokland, she won every single event this year, but I mean, still in cross country.
Yeah, the big points are for the position that Samara Maxwell is currently sitting in.
But that's next week. First here in Snowshoe today.
Need to get the bike to the line to finish first. First you must finish. Not going to be a problem, it would look like, for Samara Maxwell.
Really?
Crowds continuing to move into Snowshoe Village. Really good track this as well in terms of super accessible the whole way round for spectators.
Yeah, for spectators it's a perfect course. Yeah, you can see riders from different directions, many times a lap.
Blurtlinger 56 seconds back, looking content with that second place. Kaluri third place, 1 minute 43 back. Bart, would they be giving riders information about the overall during a race like this?
Yeah, as well, but riders know exactly also how much points they gain for the overall standings.
I don't know how you ride a bike as quickly as these athletes do. At threshold with your heart rate through the roof, lactic acid coming out your ears, and still have time to do mental arithmetic for championships.
And not using your brakes in descent like this.
Maxwell was quick down there in the last lap.
He did.
59 seconds now, Blurtlinger's back. Kaluri's in third by a comfortable margin ahead of Noel Berry. Then it's Emily Johnson.
Patricia Snieska from the Czech Republic on 6th place. Sophia Waite, 7th.
So
Sina Fantail,
the rider who started this race in the overall title leader's jersey, Sophie Heavy-Pettersson, 23rd, 9.5 minutes now back. So losing about a minute a lap.
That's a big gap.
Yep, and we think by our calculations, Ronja Blurtlinger, this woman, is going to be awarded that overall points leader's jersey if things stay the same the way they are now in the last lap. Blurtlinger likes that wider line through that choppy section. That's drying out a lot since the start of the race.
Yeah, but if you are riding it every lap, yeah, that's your choice. You have practicing in that line every day. You feel comfortable and not changing it anymore. And MMR team.
Yeah. Ciesińska, Polish national champion. Ciesińska through on 18th currently. Samara Maxwell doing an absolute job of work out front here. 1 minute and 1 second ahead of Ronja Blurtlinger. So the first place rider is going to finish on a different minute to those behind her.
She's showing her strength, she's showing her jersey. The rainbow stripes here in the USA.
Rock Rider Ford will be happy they got the checkbook out now. What a talent they have got themselves signed up in Samara Maxwell.
A strong ride of her today. Didn't have her best start, but certainly she was there.
Yep, and as we said, just that little clip of a tree on lap 1. Turning the legs over, keeping the blood flowing through that rock section for the last time. Here she comes, Samara Maxwell. What a tour de force this has been. 1 minute 3 seconds now, the clocks show in the booth.
The work is done.
The work is nearly done. Samara Maxwell, what a debut on the Rock Rider Ford team for Samara Maxwell. The UCI World Champion is going to check out and take victory. Are we going to see the dance moves? There they are. Samara Maxwell celebrates in her own style right here in Snowshoe, West Virginia. She takes the win by a huge margin. And the 7th round of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup, Snowshoe, West Virginia. That is how you do it. Sammy Maxwell takes the win in front of the American crowd. And is going to have plenty of time to get her breath back before the 2nd place rider crosses the line. She looks behind her, she's still not there. Ronja Blurtlinger is going to come in 2nd place. There she is, the Swiss, by our calculations, riding her way towards the overall title jersey. Blurtlinger outclassed, outgunned by Samara Maxwell today, but still comfortably ahead of the rider in 3rd position, Gina Kaluri. Ronja Blurtlinger, undefeated in cross-country short track in 2023. 2nd place today for Blurtlinger in Snowshoe. Another successful weekend at the office for Ronja Blurtlinger.
Yeah, Ronja Blurtlinger, she won the short track last Thursday, and Sammy Maxwell, she was 2nd, and now it's Sammy Maxwell who won. And Ronja Blurtlinger 2nd, cross-country.
And there is Gina Kaluri. She had a good dice for 2 or 3 laps in the middle of the race. Noelle Burry, she managed to break free. And really, it was that technical descending and the power at the top of the climbs that did it for her. Kaluri comes in 3rd. Looking like she enjoyed that one.
Yeah, happy with the 3rd place. Good results.
Yep. New Zealand, Switzerland, 1, 2, 3. Here in the USA.
The Swiss riders, 2 and 3.
Kaluri as well on that borrowed bike, so impressive. Here comes Noelle Burry. The Bix Performance Race team.
Lucas Flicker, team manager of that team.
Yep, great to see them getting on the result.
Yeah, also a good ride for her.
Good ride from Burry today,
yeah. Definitely.
Fought hard for every inch of it. And the distance back to 5th place, Emily Johnson, substantial. So the top 4 really far ahead of the chasing pack. As we have one more race to go in Mont-Saint-Anne next weekend in Quebec. There is Sammy Maxwell. There is the New Zealander getting past Ronja Blurtlinger. And from there on out, she never looked back. UCI World Champion, there's the dance moves. It's kind of a Wakefield Saturday night fused with a bit of motorbike throttle that I'm into it. Celebrates with the fans. Here she is.
Samara, huge congratulations, backing up that win in Leger with a top of the podium finish here in Snowshoe, and what a huge effort that was. How are you feeling about it?
I'm so stoked. It was such an amazing course. I was looking forward to all week, but this week, this one's a bit more special because I got a new team, Rock Rider Forward, and they've been helping me out so much. I mean, this week's been incredible, first week with it, so I just wanted to give back to the team, so it's so cool, yeah.
And talk to me about what happened on the first lap, because you did just show me that nasty graze on your shoulder.
Well, it's a bit dicey through the woods, and then when you're following people, your legs can get a bit stuck. And I just hit a slippery route and didn't want to damage the new bike, so I just chested into a tree instead, but the bike's fine, so that's all that matters.
And I'm sure the new team will appreciate that too.
Oh yeah, well the mechanic's got to clean that anyway, so I'm trying to be as nice as I can, don't want to give them more work.
Well, congratulations, well done today.
Thanks team, and thanks everyone at home for watching. 4:30 in New Zealand, legends.
There you go. There you go, Samara, thanking everyone watching at home. You're on a pro team now, you don't have to worry about people cleaning your bike. One of the big emerging characters of our sport chalks another win in 2023. We'll have to wait and see shortly how the points break down after that one, but Sammy Maxwell riding a wave of form in the overall at the minute. Sixth position then, Srenska crosses the line, nearly 5.5 minutes back. Seventh, Sophia Way, riding in her home round. Happy with that one. Followed by Lex Ware's Sina van Thiel from Germany. German squad getting another top 10 2023. Madigan Munro, 9th place today. Would have been hoping for more on the line. 5th place in the short track though. US national champion, mixing it with the world's best. Good result. Behind her, Kira Bohm. Rounds out the top 10. As the recoveries and the debriefs start instantly. Here is the top 10 then. Maxwell, Blurtlinger, Kaluri, Burry, Johnson, Srenska, Waite, Van Thiel, Munro and Bohm. 6 minutes 41 covering the top 10. Gives you an idea of the pace Sammy Maxwell was travelling at. 1 minute 2. Back to second place, Ronja Blurtlinger. Maxwell finishing on a different minute to everyone else. Good ride that from Emily Johnson. Another good ride, I should say. Srenska as well from the Czech Republic. Solid end of the year for her as we head to Canada next weekend. Can she break into the top 5 there? Here's Ronja. She's down there now.
What a brilliant weekend you're having, and a fantastic finish here in the cross country, but a tough course today.
Yeah, it's a really tough course, but I liked it so much. It's really a cool course to ride with technical downhill, and the downhills are really natural. I like that, and yeah, I'm happy with the race.
A course that suits your riding style.
Yes, yes. It's one of my favorite courses. So I am for the first time here in Snowshoe, but I like the course really much.
Well, it obviously suited you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good point as well. Blurtlinger, first time here. And as Bart said, we'll be up and amongst it with the elites next season.
What great racing here today, and we've only gotten started, Snowshoe. So next race
crowds.
up is the elite equipment. These
Congratulations on the podium finish. Great effort all round, and not an easy course here in Snowshoe.
Yeah, it was a very hard course. You can never recover. And it was quite stressful week because we had no bikes and we had to organize a bike, and I had to ride a different bike, and it was one size too big. I rode it for the second time today, so I'm so happy that I could manage it.
So how did you organize the bike setup with that?
Yeah, it's so nice to see how the other teams are helping us, and yeah, I got a team from bike from William Pirelli, and yeah, so happy that I could ride as well.
Congratulations on the result.
Thank you so much.
Here we see that overtake in the woods from Junior Kaluri. So impressive. Just got off the brakes, dumped the clutch, went. Yep, if you've even jumped on a good friend's mountain bike that you ride with all the time, you'll know how different bike setups vary from person to person. But let's take a look at the overall standings and the all-important overall standings heading into next weekend's final round. And we will get confirmation of what will be a change of points leader. Right after these race highlights. Blurtlinger in the red jersey. Gave it full gas off the line. Look at the speed of the field up there. Samara Maxwell was in close contention, as was Burry, as was Monroe, as was Garnier. There was the overall title leader, Sophie Heavy-Peterson. Maxwell got past Blurtlinger. This group battled hard early doors, but then this from Samara Maxwell. Yeah, she mentioned that graze on her shoulder to our interview. It looks like a hard enough impact, that, but really the only wheel she put wrong. There's Sophie Heavy-Peterson. Tough day at the office. Blurtlinger swerved past Maxwell. The two of them juked it out for a couple of laps in the middle. And Maxwell, on that new Rock Rider Ford race machine, decided she was much happier leading the way. It was punch and counter punch throughout. There was a slight bobble here. Blurtlinger just stalled slightly. Maxwell had to get back on again, but that lit something inside the Kiwi. She stormed back past as soon as they cleared that wood section. and promptly pulled a disappearing act. Trademark dance moves were out on the line. Samara Maxwell wins the 7th round of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup in Snowshoe, West Virginia. Superb stuff from the Kiwi. Here is Sophie Heavy Peterson cutting a rather dishevelled figure, 12 minutes 10 behind the race winner, Samara Maxwell. That overall points leader's jersey. Finishing in 25th spot. So here are the all-important overall standings, and Ronja Blurtlinger takes the overall points jersey into the final round in Mont St. Anne from Sophie Heavy Peterson, who is herself now well within the grasp of Samara Maxwell, today's winner. Burries in 4th, then it's Kaluri, Garnier, Van Thiel, Munro, Johnson and Cordanovis. Well, next up, cross-country Olympic elite women, and if it's anything as good as the under-23 women's race, we should have a battle on our hands. On behalf of Bart Brenchins and myself, Rick McLaughlin, thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere.